Welcome back to another reading and correcting with me, Kindar, the Tiger Writes, and Ty, the Tiger Supervisor. These are where I read a chapter from one of my stories and correct it as I go. If you want to listen to these live, it's every Tuesday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Time on Twitch. And if you are looking to support me, that is on my Patreon. Today we are doing chapter 41 of Once Broken. Okay, what? Did not set this up, did I? Jacoby had Termy in hand the instant he realized the birds were quiet. He didn't aim at the approaching steps with their trees, but Termy was powered up and his finger was on the trigger. He recognized the shapes through the trees, Somalian and human, but only relaxed once he made out the details. Alex resting his head against Tech's shoulder, the Somalian's arm around his waist. At least the tension in the hover was done with. This hadn't been the waste of time he'd worried about. He worried it was. He shouldered Termy and smiled at them. It's about time you two got back. I was about to track you down, stun you, and drag you back. I don't like it, but it is dialogue. So Jacoby can definitely be clunky on this one. Tech's ears did something weird, did the weird twitching Jacoby had seen in the town. Alex simply scowled. I would have liked to see you try it, Alex said. You know what? This is better that way. Alex simply scowled. I would have liked to see you try it. So, you done freaking out anytime Tech looks at you? Alex's skull deepened. We should get going, Tech said. He walked by Jacoby and into the hover. Did you try to have a bath or something? Jacoby wrinkled his nose. In the river? No, this is part of what I need to fix. In the river, Alex said, following Tristan inside. You stink, Tech. Couldn't you have dried off? My father didn't believe in technology, so there were no dryers installed. Did you prefer we returned reeking of sex? Excuse me? Tech sat in the pilot's chair and powered the hover up. What did you think we were going to do here? Have a long philosophical discussion about the meaning of loneliness? Jacoby watched him work. Ready to intervene the instant he missed a check, but Tech was precise again. No sloppiness. Fine. In that case, this is better. And why don't you let me take over so you can go dry out properly? My hover does have a dryer. My hover, Tech corrected. He glanced at Alex and they grinned at each other. Jacoby sighed as Tech stood. At least turn the sound dampening on. I don't need to be reminded of what I won't get until I'm back home. We could have gotten some, Alex said before following Tech. Not that desperate, Jacoby grumbled. He took off and had them heading to the city, pushing the hover as hard as the upgrades and fine-tuning allowed. Not sure why these got added. Almost immediately, the gravity generator registered a rhythmic shift in the weight distribution. Just how hard were those two going at it for the system to notice? When they left the room, they sat on a couch and snuggled. Their hands were all over each other's body, as if they couldn't wait to do it again. This was going to be a long trip, Jacoby realized. Jacoby popped dried meat in his mouth, something local he'd bought. It was tasty. A little gamey, but also sweet. So, we need to reach the 32nd floor without being noticed. He looked at Tech up and down. You going to put a suit on or something? The building didn't stand out in any way. Just another giant glass, metal, and permacrete structure among a bunch of others. Humans came in and out of them as they did the others. We need to get into the chief's operation office on the 8th floor first, Alex said. What there? I have to access the system directly. Corporations have always been careful about access. But Leisure Tech has increased it over the last objective decade in response to attacks. Let me guess. Jacoby said, they were all you. Alex shook his head. I'd never even heard of Leisure Tech before we landed here. I might be the best coercionist out there, but I'm not the only one. Leisure Tech pissed someone off. Pissed, pissed off someone else. Probably over this place. I get the sense the local Somalian resistance has support from outside. Jacoby finished the packet. Still say you doing this over the net is the safest way. I thought you were in a hurry to go home, Tech said. He was watching the coming and goings. Yes, but I'll take a delay over getting captured. Taking on a corporation is a suicide job. Not hardly, Tech replied, and Alex grinned. Fine, maybe you can do it, Jacoby admitted, but you might have missed that only humans have been going in there. It's going to be me and Alex. I have no doubt he's good at pulling off jobs, Alex snorted, but it's going to be corporate security in there, not a ship full of mercs. I'm going in too, Tech said, still looking at the entrance. How? I was joking about you wearing a suit. Doesn't matter what you do. Even shaved, you're going to look like a Somalian. You should pay more attention to who goes in there. Jacoby motioned to the sea of humans. I am looking, but you're not seeing. Tech pointed, and Jacoby looked there, searching, and was about to let out his exasperation when he noticed the ears above the heads. Now that he saw them, he realized there was a Somalian between two humans. He or she, they had pants on, was slouched, medium brown fur with white stripes. Even with the little he managed to catch, Jacoby got a sense there was something missing, a lack of vitality. He watched them enter the building. Having seen one, now he noticed another, also escorted by human, copper fur, black swirls. They too entered the building. Okay, but you still stand out. You don't look half dead. Jacoby turned to get Tex's explanation as how he was going to overcome that, and found himself looking at an expressionless Somalian, eyes glazed over. He could swear Tech's fur had lost some of its luster, and that he was smaller. Alex wasn't surprised by the change. In fact, he looked extremely pleased. Jacoby searched Tech's face. That's impressive. You think it's going to be enough to get you through security? With both of you on my side, yes. Tech's voice, coming out of that brain-dead face, was disconcerting. Jacoby looked at the crowd again and spotted another Somalian, golden fur with copper spots. What are they doing to them in there? I don't know, Alex answered. Whatever it is, they're keeping it off the net, so it can be good. But that isn't why we're here. Our only concern is crashing the whole Leisure Tech database. Alex was looking at him like he was having an issue, like he was issuing a warning. Jacoby almost pointed out he wasn't the one who'd almost gone native. Instead, he pointed to how they were dressed. How are we getting in? We don't exactly look corporate. I don't think they let Merc in that building. Alex didn't scream Merc. His clothing was light armor, but Jacoby would have to be down to his skivvies to no longer look like one. Tech handed Jacoby a bundle. Clothes, a black suit. You have to be kidding me. It isn't the level of armor you're used to, Tech said, but it is armored. It's the same cut as the corporate jockeys coming in and out. Alex held one too, light brown, as he shook his head. I haven't worn something like this since my time at Luminex. I doubt I remember how to move like one of them. Tech kissed his temple. Just remember what I taught you. You'll be fine. Fine. So this makes us look like them, but how do we get past the guards? If this building is as important as you imply, I doubt they'll be satisfied with us wearing the right clothes. Alex produced 2 IDs. Fully valid, linked to 2 employees who aren't in a position to come to work today. But haven't called in to let anyone know. I added a few things to them so we can get through any checkpoints. Jacoby looked at the ID Alex handed him. The previous owners dead? Just sick. I couldn't risk Legitech having a system in place that registers an end of life. Their apartment sensors are registering everything as being fine, and they think they advise their supervisors they wouldn't be coming in. Nice thing about a planet where humans haven't taken over everything is that it's actually credible to catch something they don't have a cure for yet. So we can get in. Jacoby still didn't like this. I know Alex is deadly with knives, so he can get those through security. But I'm more of a gun guy. I don't think I can sneak Termy in there. Tech handed Jacoby a small package. Fully shielded holster. Latest tech. Completely undetectable. It's going to take a few years before anyone finds a way around it. Termy is going to fit in it, and the cut of the jacket will hide it. So long as you don't pull Termy out, no one will question it. This is a savage world after all. Jacoby looked at the holster, the suit, and the ID. When did you get all this? I mean, we got in last night. What do you think we did all night? Alex asked. Sex, Jacoby answered, replacing his holster with the new one. I know, because you two got to turn the dampener. You two forgot to turn the dampener in your apartment on, and you pointed to Tech, are loud. Tech smiled, only when deserving. Alex is very, I don't want to know. Your sex life is your own, but now I get why you live so far from the rest of us. Any closer and none of us would get any sleep. And you must have fallen asleep before we were done, Alex said, because after that, we went out and took care of this. Where did you get this? Jacoby tapped the holster on his hip. That Jeff fellow? No, he's compromised. Legitech has them under heavy surveillance. Surveillance? Under heavy surveillance. They know Jeff Del Biro has linked to the resistance. It's his daughter, not him, Jacoby said. I guess my last visit didn't help matters for them. If you mean that Legitech now think you're the mastermind behind the attacks, Tech said, and that they're your contact here, you're right. It didn't help at all. I had to deal with some of them to get the weapons Alex wanted. But you left one of them alive, Tech replied, his tone too severe for the situation. Jacoby shrugged. I didn't think he'd gotten a look at my face. You should have killed him anyway, Alex said. He was naked, looking at the suit. How do these even go on? One leg at a time, Jacoby answered. He looked Tech over. All he had on were new pants. What are you doing for weapons? Tech extended claws. Jacoby kept forgetting about them. They looked bigger than he remembered. These will be enough. Jacoby fought the urge to pull out the pants. They were his size, but they didn't have the weight he was used to. How did anyone stand feeling like they weren't wearing anything? Tech was next to him, with Alex on the other side. Tech was slouched, looking brain dead again, and barely as tall as Alex. He'd seen Tech hunch himself in and bend his leg a little, but he still couldn't believe it. The door opened as they approached, and Alex went in first, then Tech and Jacoby followed. The Somalian was never allowed to be in another position than between his two guardians. Another one? The guard took Alex's ID and swiped it. What are they doing with them? Grinding them into paste? Alex took his ID back. As if they tell me that stuff. They hand them to us, tell us where to take them, and to not ask question. He took all of Tech's arm as Jacoby handed over his ID. They have to be running out of space under the building, with a lot of them that have been coming in. The guard handed the ID back. I'm telling you, this would be a lot easier if we just wiped them all out instead of wasting time scrambling their brains and whatever else they do to them in here. Jacoby made a fist and considered punching the guard. Probably a good thing you weren't in charge then. Everyone had a right to live, not just humans. The guard chuckled. Yeah, probably. Jacoby followed Alex and Tech to the lift and entered. There was still ample space, but no one joined them in it. No one joined them. Don't need to. Since it was only them, Jacoby opened his mouth, but Alex shook his head. So he fumed in silence. On the 8th floor, Alex led the way again. Hi, a woman called. What are you doing here? They stopped, and Jacoby readied himself for a fight. She wore a security uniform, but lightly armored. That thing goes to the basement, you know that. Alex shrugged. My instructions are to bring this one to Chief Richard. Another one? The woman growled. They aren't her personal toys. Someone was supposed to talk to her about this. So you want us to take him down? Are you going to tell her she isn't getting him? Are you kidding me? Why do you think we all passed this along up the chain? No one here wants to deal with her tantrums. She sighed. You go on. I'll send another message when I can. With a huff, she turned and walked away. Jacoby glanced over his shoulder as they continued on their way. What was that about? Chief Richard is a closet xenophile, Dick answered under his breath. How did you find that out? Yeah. I talked with some of the guards, Alex said. She isn't as discreet about it as she likes to think, as you can tell. Everyone knows she diverts the occasional Somalian to her office before they're processed. Did you get any sleep last night? Are you on stim? Are you on stim? Yes, I did. Alex stopped by a door and buzzed it. It opened as they entered. The woman continued reading her datapad as Jacoby closed and locked the door. She looked up. What's this? The office was larger than he expected. More of a meeting room with everything but the desk removed, and 3 chairs before that. Alex looked at Tech, then back to her. We were told to bring him here. Something about him being the last one. They don't give me details. Her face lit up. She walked around the desk, then around Tech. Has he been processed yet? She looked him over, licking her lips. No more than what they do at the holding center. Very good. She moved to Tech and ran a hand through his fur. His fur. Hey, come back here. Moved it down to his stomach and kept going. Alex tensed, his hand inching toward the knife at his back. You two can wait outside. Her words were strangled by the hand Tech wrapped around her neck. He was looking at Alex, concerned. Are you okay? Tech spun the woman and held her against his chest. She fought, but still, when Tech's claws drew blood. Alex nodded. I am now. Just happy you stopped her before she reached. He forced a breath. You know some job will require I get intimate with a mark, Alex. It's happened before. Alex nodded, patting her down. It's just too fresh. It's going to take time for me to adjust. Hey, look at me. Okay, why is that there? Look at me. Alex looked up, pausing in his search. She doesn't mean anything. None of them do. You understand that, right? Jacoby so wanted to be on the other side of that door right now, or at least tell them to wait until they were done here before having they're having relationship talk. I know. Alex snapped his mouth shut. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to snap. I'll adjust. You know that. It'll just take some time. He went back to his search. What are you looking for? Jacoby asked before the relationship stuff continued. He wasn't a prude by any stretch of the imagination, but he drew the line at people talking about their sex life in front of him. Especially when it sounded like it was going to be something other than a monogamous relationship. Somalians and their weird ways. Alex put a card from her pocket. This. What is that? Her access card. Alex sat behind the desk. I thought access meant strings of numbers. You know, the stuff you have to enter. The stuff I have to enter to... The sound of bones breaking stopped him. Tex let go of the woman, his eyes closed. She crumbled at his feet. Did you just kill her? Jacoby asked. Tech didn't answer or move. All good? Alex asked, typing. Tech opened his eyes and smiled, baring his teeth. All good. Jacoby looked at the body. Did you have to kill her? Had Tech just killed her in cold blood? No. Tech's smile broadened, which only made it more vicious. I wanted to. I wanted to check if I was still a killer. Jacoby looked at Alex, who didn't react at the admission. And that concludes chapter 41. If you are enjoying this, please leave a like. If you want to know when the next chapter is going to be up, subscribe and hit the bell. If you want to read this book, as well as the others in the series, they are available at all major e-retailer. If you are looking to support for a different way to support me, that is on my Patreon, where you can get access to just about everything I've written. And if you are looking to listen to these live, it's every Tuesday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Time on Twitch. The links are in the note, and with that, I shall wish you a good day.